with another video. I'm on the final leg of the journey with the calves. I've got about half an hour of crawling down this gravel road. Because I'm only going 26 kilometers an hour. I don't like kicking up gravel on my truck. This is how some of us livestock haulers keep our trucks clean. See, if you look out the window, you could probably almost get out and run faster than I'm driving. Well, that's just how I do it though. It's painful, but it's easier on equipment this way. And this is the only time that I'll use my twist out throttle, my hand throttle on my truck is cruise control. It's going this slow down a gravel road. Figure while I'm crawling down this gravel road, I can tell you the story about my Class 1 or CDL, whatever you call your professional driver's license where you're from, by road test. How I got my license was my dad was really sick. It was winter rush, hauling livestock. I was about 21, 22 years old. Had a hard time in my life. And my dad called me. He asked me if I could come on the road with him and drive for him because he was really sick. So I went on the road, drove with him. I didn't have my air brakes or my knowledge test or anything. Just hit the road with my dad because I knew how to drive for years. So he'd just lay in the bunk, tell me where I needed to go. And as he was teaching me, I used to drive a 5-ton truck for a moving company. So I had some bad shifting habits. So every time I would miss a shift, doesn't matter how long my dad was sleeping in the bunk, he'd come out of the bunk, smack me upside the head for messing up the shift, then he'd crawl back in the bunk, go back to bed. Until you learn quick how to shift properly when you get smacked upside the head. But my dad was just breaking me of my bad habits that I had. And then when we got back to his office, he asked his boss if he needed another driver, and the boss said he did. And my boss asked him if he'd help me get my Class 1, then he'd have another driver. My dad would take me on the road with him to teach me how they do things there. So I spent maybe a week, 2 weeks on the road with my dad, learning how to shift brake certificate, booked my road test. When I went for my road test, it was about minus 40 degrees Celsius, middle of January. It was a bad winter, lots of snow and all that. I didn't know the city that I took my road test in, so that was all new to me, learning that on my road test. And when I met the examiner, when we walked out to the truck to go for my road test, he was like to me, just to be honest with you, I don't ever pass anyone their first try on their road test. I always find something major they did wrong and they don't pass and all that. So that had my heart sunk, making me think that I wasn't going to be able to get my road test that time. I was going to have to book another test and all that. But anyways, we started driving, went and parked at a truck stop. So I did my backing in before I did my pre-trip and all that, because he didn't want me to do my pre-trip out on the road. And I hop out of the truck, bare hands and all that, going over the pre-trip, grabbing every single lug nut on the truck, checking them to make sure they're tight, telling them what I'm doing and all that. Sticking my head in behind, checking the inside of the tire and all that, checking all the components, the brakes and all that. By the time I got the truck done and all that, because it was minus 40, the examiner was cold. He's like, okay, I'm not going to make you actually unhook from the trailer and all that. I'll just we'll just go sit in the truck and warm up, and you just tell me what you're going to do to unhook and hook up to the trailer. He called me crazy because I had no gloves and no tooth on, and I had no problem doing my pre-trip like that. But anyways, we're sitting in the truck and I'm telling him everything that I do for properly unhooking and hooking onto a trailer. And then we go to leave there, and then I go to pull away. He was like, oh, what did you just forget to do? And I was like, oh no, I forgot to remove my visible chocks that I didn't actually put in front of my wheels. He was like, I'm not going to dock you for that, because you didn't actually chalk your wheels. And so we start driving, and because I was pulling an empty trailer, you don't have to split the gears with an empty trailer. You can just straight stick. So I'm straight sticking. He's like, I see you can straight stick really good. He's like, I know, because you're empty, you don't have to split gears. I just want to see you split gears to see if you know how and all that. So I was splitting the shifts, and because of my dad slapping me upside the head, a truck that I took for my class 1, going from 6 low to 6 high, if you didn't throw the gear shifter into neutral and then pull it back into gear, it'd do a little hiccup, a little buck when it'd shift. And my dad would always slap me upside the head, so it's just instinct. And on my road test, threw the transmission in neutral, split the gear, threw it back in the gear it was in. The examiner had never seen anyone do that before. He asked me why I did that. I was like, well, this truck likes to bit, and all he had to say was that I didn't check my mirrors enough, because you can't get 100% on a road test. They gotta ding you for something. So he told me that I just didn't check my mirrors enough. And I was like, oh, so did I fail from that? He's like, no, you're the first person that I'm passing their first time on a road test with me. I was so excited. Finally get in my own truck and have my class 1. And then when we go back in the registry, we call it a registry in Alberta. I believe it's called the DMV in the States. But we go in there to get my license, because I drove with my dad there, the truck and trailer there, to go get my license. Goes over to my dad and shakes my dad's hand and tells him he's a damn good driving instructor. And of course that just went right to my dad's head. But it was nice. Glad he also gave my dad that recognition, saying that he taught me well how to drive. And I was just shocked that I passed my license my first try, because I had never driven in that city, didn't know that city, went for my license at lunch rush hour. It was all icy everywhere. Every intersection was ice. Every road was pure ice. It's probably the worst conditions you could have for going for your road test. But I passed it. And that's the story on how I got my class 1. And then when I got in my own truck after I got my class 1, I was so used to getting smacked upside the head by my dad whenever I'd mess up a shift, that even when I was in my own truck, I'd miss a shift, my dad's nowhere around me, and I'm ducking in my chair, waiting to get smacked upside my head because I'm so used to it and all that. I was like, oh yeah, my dad's not here with me, I have my license now, I'm on my own. But probably for the first 3 months having my license, I was always ducking my head every time I missed a shift. But from the slaps upside the head, the reason why you see me split the gears the way I do is because my transmission doesn't buck or jerk or anything when I pull the transmission, the shifter into neutral to split. I personally think it's easier on the transmission, but I'm not sure. And anyways, that story's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Made this drive a lot easier chatting with you guys. I've still got 7 kilometers to go till I get there. But I hope you guys I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.